I'm going to share with you the framework that allowed me to grow a startup's TikTok to 34,000 followers, with each video getting around 20,000 views on average, which meant that when we were posting once a day, we'd got around 600,000 views a month. Now, we did all this with educational content, none of this dancing or none of this degenerate stuff that you can see on TikTok sometimes. It was all about knowledge. So while in medical school, this was my part-time job. In the beginning, we tried many different things, hit many roadblocks, learned many lessons along the way. So you don't have to make the same mistakes that I made on my journey, and so that you can attain similar results in a shorter time period than what we took, which was around 8 months. I'm going to share with you this 3-step framework that you can use to apply to your own content. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you 2 bonus cheeky tips that help get this TikTok that extra oomph to grow it slightly more. So let's get into point number 1, which is in the beginning, get volume in. Much like a beginner going to a gym and worrying about how many sets to do or how many rep ranges or all these things, what's the best split, the thing they should be focused on is just to get under the bar and lift the weight. Just get the reps in. And this is the same with content creation. In the beginning, you have the opportunity to try all sorts of styles of content within your broad niche, seeing what works. My advice would be to try all the ideas that you have in your head and letting the market reject you before your mind does. Because you don't know what's going to work for your style of content, for your face, in your niche, in your target audience. You don't know what's going to work. So my suggestion would be to just try everything out, seeing what works, and then doing more of that. And also, the more reps you do, the more videos you make, the better you become at making videos. So you improve twofold. For us, we tried many styles of content and hooks. So we tried paper cutouts, we tried B-roll with captions, we tried talking headshots. And a very easy way to come up with proven ideas for us, so we were a personal finance TikTok based in New Zealand. So we just looked at what was working in the American personal finance niche, and we tried to extrapolate the style of content into our niche, and we just made content that way. Because if it worked in a very similar niche to us, it'd likely work in our niche as well. Also, what worked for us was using the words New Zealand in the hook and having that on screen sometimes. Also, what worked was having the Sky Tower, which is a prominent New Zealand landmark, in the first frame. And also talking about how much you bring home after taxes and all these deductions. Also, side note, making content that is specific to New Zealand pretty much meant that we weren't competing against anyone, because our target audience are New Zealanders who are interested in personal finance. All the bigger creators were talking about general personal finance as a whole, or targeting the American markets. So we were in a completely unsaturated market, a completely blue ocean. So that gave us an advantage. And I didn't really have a lot of time to create content because med school's going to be my number 1 priority, right? I'm going to try to be the best doctor that I can be, and making TikToks doesn't outweigh that. So I tried to film all the content on one day, although I write down ideas throughout the week. And to make this process as streamlined as possible, I literally just used the front-facing camera of my iPhone 11. So you probably are using better hardware than I used. I also tried to use in-app features like the green screen feature, like replying to comments, auto-generated captions for retention, making the process as easy as possible to allow me to stay consistent. We eventually got this process smooth enough that we could be posting 1 video a day, and that was when we saw real growth. So in summary, if you're starting out, get the volume in, get the reps in, boys. Just get it done. Stay consistent too. Get as much data as possible. Step number 2, iterate until it works, replicate until it doesn't. Now, once you've gotten enough volume in, you've listened to me, right? So once we've got enough volume in, we've got enough data, we can now analyze that data and then just do more of what works. And to make this process as unbiased as possible, I was such a nerd that I literally made an Excel spreadsheet and I manually typed in for each video how many views it got, how many likes it got, how many comments it got, how many shares it got. Not only that, but I was a super nerd, whether or not there were captions, the like to view ratio, the comment to view ratio, the share to view ratio. And it was wild. It was super in depth, and I ultimately highlighted things that did well, things that were outside of the norm, and I just doubled down on that style of content, and that was how we did it. So I sat down once a month with someone from the startup and we analyzed the content together. So it's simple. Iterate until it works, and when something works, replicating it until it doesn't. And whenever you hit a plateau, you just iterate it more until it works again, and then you replicate it until it doesn't. So in summary, iterate until it works, replicate until it doesn't. Step number 3, interact with the community. So I'd pretty much read every comment. I'd reply to most of the comments unless there was some negativity to it, then wouldn't touch it. Don't want to entertain negativity. I wouldn't reply to hate comments also. And once in a while, if there was a really good comment and it got a lot of likes, I would often reply to that comment. And this helped us in 2 ways. One way, obviously, the TikTok algorithm likes it when you use their inbuilt features. But secondly, it builds a community, right? If people feel like their questions are getting answered, it encourages people to ask more questions, and they feel special when their question gets answered. They feel like they're part of the community. So it's really helps the community. Also, something else that you can use this TikTok for is that it helps with product market research. You now know what people are asking, and you now know what people want more of. So once a month, I'd actually write these ideas down, all these questions that people ask, and send it to the founder of the company so that they could improve their product even more. So step number 3, interact with your community. So now you've made it to this part of the video, I'm going to share with you 2 cheeky hacks that helped us get that extra oomph to grow this following a little bit more. So number 1 is to post at the right time. So what is the right time? Well, I think honestly, it's just a few hours, 1 to 2 hours, just before you get a lot of traffic on your channel. So again, volume in the beginning, you get the data, you can go to your analytics, see when your followers are active. Just post a few hours before when it starts getting up. So for us, what worked was posting it around 5-ish, because our traffic started peaking from around 7 to 10 to 11, around there. So then when we posted before that time, it gave TikTok enough time to test it on a few people, push it out a bit before it could take off during the peak hours. Now, some people say it doesn't actually matter what time you post. And I think if a video would do around 100K or more, it doesn't matter. But I think posting at the right time could turn a 1K video in terms of views to a 5K video. And cheeky hack number 2 is to repost old content. So whenever we posted a video that did over 10K views, we'd just repost it, because why not? We'd post it maybe like a couple weeks later, so it's not too soon. If it performed well in the past, it'd likely perform well again in the future. We might change the caption slightly, different hashtags, but it's literally same piece of content. Now, the first thought that might come to your mind is, wouldn't people get bored of the same content? Well, I don't think we had any complaints from people saying that we reposted content. I think the majority of the people that see the content are new anyways to the channel, so they won't get bored. And since we posted a couple weeks from the original post date, people pretty much forgot about it by then. So it just acted as spaced repetition almost. If you're a med student, you'd know this word. People wouldn't mind seeing the same piece of content if it's spaced a certain period apart. For example, if I go to 2 different Jack Harlow concerts 2 weeks apart, and they play What's Popping at each one, I wouldn't mind, because it's a banger, it did well. I hope you understand the analogy. So repost your old well-performing pieces of content. For no extra work, you get more views. So if you're developing a personal brand, wanting to grow a community, doing a brand page, whatever you want to use TikTok for, the 3 steps of this process include 1, getting volume in the beginning, 2, iterating until it works and then replicating until it doesn't, and 3, interacting with your community. And the 2 cheeky hacks to boost your account just a little bit more are to post at the right time and to repost content that performed well. So thanks for watching. My name is Junius, and I do my best to help you make and strategize educational content, and I've created playlists to help you with exactly that. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.